Habits that damage your brain. When it comes to our health, we don't always think about taking care of our brains the way we take care of our bodies. We tend to focus on other parts of the body and overlook the brain, which is responsible for all bodily functions. Take a look at some of these daily habits that are doing serious damage to your brain. 1. Consuming too much sugar. Include brain damage to the things we already associate with a high sugar intake, like type 2 diabetes, dental cavities, and obesity. So you may be asking, how does taking too much candy affect your brain? Taking sugar in excessive amounts for a long period of time messes with the body's ability to absorb proteins and nutrients. This might consequently lead to malnutrition, which deters brain development. This happens because the body lacks enough nutrients in the bloodstream and therefore is unable to deliver sufficient nutrients to the brain, which then deters its growth and development. Eating too many sweets can damage your memory and ability to think, so sticking to alternatives like antioxidant-rich sweets like dark chocolate and raspberries would be a much better choice for both your brain and your waistline. 2. Not getting enough sleep. Insufficient sleep is a huge problem for many busy professionals. Depriving oneself of sleep can result in several issues, such as extreme daytime drowsiness, depression, and impaired memory. Recent studies reveal that not getting enough sleep can actually decrease the size of your brain. The hippocampus is the part of the brain that suffers when you don't get enough sleep. Even a single night of inadequate sleep can interfere with the brain's ability to recall new information. A number of studies have shown that the brain cleanses itself of toxins only during the sleep cycle. Lack of sleep can also cause the death of brain cells, which slows down your thinking, impairs your memory, concentration, judgment, and decision-making, and hinders learning. 3. Playing loud music with earphones or headphones. People naturally tend to crank up the volume. It makes the music sound more fun and immersive. If you're constantly listening to music at a very high volume with your earphones or headphones, you should stop doing it because it can damage your hearing. But it's not just your ears that are affected. Hearing loss in older people is connected to brain problems, such as loss of brain tissue and Alzheimer's. When your brain has to make an extra effort to understand what someone's saying, it can't store what you've heard into memory. So protect your hearing by adjusting the volume of your earphones, for it's a great way to preserve your hearing and permits your brain to function better. Headphonesty.com suggested one test to ensure your volume is not too loud. The Digital Headphone magazine recommends that one should take off their headphones, keeping them at your preferred volume, and then hold them out in front of you at an arm's length. If you can hear the music clearly, then you should try turning it down and repeating the process. They also said that you should aim to take regular breaks throughout the day to give your ears enough time to relax. 4. Skipping breakfast. Many people choose to skip breakfast, probably because they're on a diet or to save time. Not many people know that missing breakfast could damage your brain. The body needs enough nutrients after a good night's sleep, and so skipping breakfast denies the brain of these essential nutrients. A Japanese study of over 80,000 subjects over a period of 15 years revealed that participants who frequently skipped breakfast increased their chances of having a stroke and high blood pressure. Another study showed that children who took breakfast on a regular basis perform much better in school than those who don't. Skipping breakfast lowers blood glucose levels, which adversely affects the brain's functioning. So before you leave your house in the morning, remember to have a bite to eat. 5. Eating too much food. Overindulging in food makes us gain weight, feel bloated, and increases our chances of having life-threatening diseases. But one fact that you might be unaware of is that it can also do serious damage to your brain. It hardens the brain's arteries, hence harming our mental capacities. Studies have shown that a prolonged high-calorie diet can in fact increase a person's risk of developing memory loss or mild cognitive impairment, MCI, later in life. A study published in the journal Neurology in 2012 examined 6,000 people who were 50 years old on average. The same participants were examined a decade later, and the ones who were overweight had a 22% higher deterioration of their cognitive functions as compared to their slimmer counterparts. 6. Sleeping with your head under the cover. Oxygen is very essential for normal brain functioning. The less air you inhale, the poorer your brain functions. A situation you create where you breathe in less than 20.95% of oxygen is when you sleep with a blanket or comforter over your head. Is it all warm and cozy when you bury yourself under the covers? Certainly. Does it help to decrease the annoying effects of too much light or sound first thing in the morning? Of course it does. but it will result in an elevated intake of carbon dioxide, which means you're increasing the risk of damaging your brain cells.